You're failing. Not dramatically, not obviously. Quietly, incrementally, in ways you won't notice until it's too late. You scroll when you should sleep. You react when you should reflect. You drift when you should decide. These aren't catastrophic failures. They're the small surrenders that happen every single day, the tiny concessions that feel like nothing in the moment, but compound into everything over time. Epictetus understood this better than anyone. He said our habits are like a bonfire. Every action you take either feeds the flames or starves them. Every time you practice a habit, good or bad, you make it stronger, more automatic, more inevitable. And here's the truth that most people discover too late. When life gets hard, you don't rise to the level of your goals or your intentions. You fall to the level of your habits. The person you've been building in the quiet moments, through 1,000 tiny choices, is the person who shows up when everything falls apart. Right now, you're building someone. The question is, who? Comment, "I choose discipline," if you're ready to start building the person you're meant to become. The Stoics knew that survival, and more importantly, thriving, depends entirely on the daily practices you cultivate before you need them. They identified specific habits, concrete practices that transform abstract philosophy into lived reality. 21 of them, to be exact. And if you can make these part of your daily routine, you won't just feel better, you'll be better. Here they are. Habit 1. Expect the worst. Handle anything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This wasn't pessimism. This was battlefield preparation from a man who governed an empire while fighting wars on multiple fronts. He knew that unprepared optimism is fragile, but prepared realism is unshakable. Before you check your phone, before you dive into the chaos, spend 2 minutes mentally rehearsing potential challenges. Your meeting might go badly. Your project might hit unexpected obstacles. Traffic might be terrible. Someone you trust might disappoint you. Your carefully laid plans might completely fall apart. By anticipating adversity, you remove its power to derail you emotionally. You're not hoping for problems or manifesting negativity. You're armoring yourself against surprise. When difficulty arrives, and it will, you'll recognize it as exactly what you prepared for, not as some catastrophic deviation from how life is supposed to be. You'll think, here's that thing I knew might happen, instead of, why is this happening to me? This single practice transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a prepared practitioner. The Stoics weren't naive about human nature or the unpredictability of life. They were prepared for it, which made them nearly impossible to knock off balance. Habit 2. Ask, who am I today? The Stoics made a crucial distinction that most people miss. The difference between goals and intentions, between externals and internals, between what you control and what you don't. You can't control whether your presentation succeeds, whether your client says yes, whether your work gets recognized, but you can absolutely control whether you show up prepared, present, and with integrity. Each morning before the world fills your head with its demands, ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Not what you want to achieve or acquire, but how you want to show up. Patient with your kids, even when they're testing you. Focused during work, even when distractions swirl. Kind to strangers, even when you're stressed. Honest in your dealings, even when lying would be easier. This single question transforms your entire day from a series of reactions into a deliberate practice. You're not just surviving the day, You're using it as an opportunity to build character. Every interaction becomes a chance to practice your chosen virtue. Every challenge becomes a chance to prove to yourself that you can be who you intend to be, regardless of circumstances. Epictetus taught that the chief task in life is separating what you control from what you don't. Your intention, the person you choose to be, is entirely within your control. Everything else is just scenery. Habit 3. Take a cold shower. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, yet he regularly slept on a hard floor, wore cheap clothes, and ate simple food. Not because he was poor or ascetic, but because he wanted to prove to himself that he could handle it. He wanted to know with absolute certainty that if fortune reversed and he lost everything, he would be fine. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" The modern version: take a cold shower. Skip your morning coffee once a week. Walk instead of drive when it's inconvenient. Sit in physical or emotional discomfort for 5 minutes without immediately distracting yourself. Fast for a day, sleep on the floor, wear your least comfortable shoes. Why would you deliberately make life harder? Because comfort makes you fragile. When you require specific conditions to feel okay, your particular coffee, your preferred temperature, your exact routine, you become a slave to circumstance. You're constantly anxious about losing what you need to feel comfortable. But when you regularly choose difficulty, when you prove to yourself over and over that you can handle discomfort, you build unshakable confidence. You stop being terrorized by potential hardship because you know you can handle it. You've practiced. When real adversity comes, and it will, you're not facing unknown territory. You're facing familiar ground. Habit 4. Read something meaningful. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, yet he read Epictetus every morning. Not to learn something new, he'd internalized the philosophy years earlier. He read to remember what he already knew. Because wisdom leaks, you forget what matters. The noise of the world drowns out the signal of truth. Spend 5 minutes every morning reading something that elevates you. Stoic philosophy, biographies of people you admire, poetry that moves you, essays that challenge your thinking, books on psychology, history, strategy, or virtue. The specific content matters less than the practice of filling your mind with substance before the world fills it with noise. Think of it like tuning an instrument. You might be a skilled musician, but if your guitar is out of tune, you'll play poorly. This daily reading tunes you back to the right frequency. It reminds you of what's possible, what's important, what's true. It gives you perspective before you're drowning in the urgent and trivial. This isn't about becoming an intellectual or accumulating facts to impress people. It's about protecting your mind from the default setting of modern life: distraction, reactivity, shallow consumption. It's about starting your day anchored to depth instead of drifting into superficiality. 5 minutes, one passage, one chapter, one poem. Daily nourishment for your mind. The Stoics knew that what you feed your mind shapes who you become. Feed it well, and you'll grow. Starve it, and you'll diminish. Habit 5. Keep your phone in another room. The Stoics would be absolutely horrified by our habit of checking phones before we're fully conscious. Think about what you're doing when you grab your phone within seconds of waking. You're immediately handing control of your attention, and therefore your day, to algorithms designed to manipulate you and other people's agendas. Epictetus taught that the chief task in life is separating what you control from what you don't. Your attention is the one resource you absolutely control, the foundation of everything. Yet most people give it away before they even get out of bed. Start your day by controlling your attention. No phone for the first hour after waking. None. Instead, reflection, reading, movement, preparation. Use that hour to build yourself before the world tries to consume you. This single habit might be the hardest one on this list, which tells you exactly how addicted we've become and exactly how necessary it is. When you reclaim your morning from digital chaos, you reclaim yourself. You prove that you're not enslaved to dopamine hits. You create space for intention instead of reaction. You start the day as the author of your experience instead of the victim of everyone else's content. The world can wait 1 hour for your attention. You cannot wait any longer to reclaim it. Habit 6. Ask, can I control this? This is the absolute foundation of Stoic practice, the exercise everything else builds upon. Constantly throughout your day, ask yourself, is this within my control? Your effort, yes. Your preparation, yes. Your attitude, yes. Your response, yes. Your integrity, yes. Other people's opinions of you, no. The outcome of your work, no. The traffic, no. The economy, no. Whether people like you, no. What happened in the past, no. Stop wasting emotional energy on externals. The Stoics weren't being cold or detached. They were being strategic. When you worry about things outside your control, you make yourself miserable and you accomplish nothing. It's pure waste. When you feel anxiety rising, pause and categorize. Is this within my control? If it's outside your control, release it completely. Not because you don't care, but because caring about it serves no purpose except to make you suffer. If it's inside your control, stop worrying and act on it. This single practice eliminates 90% of unnecessary suffering. Most of what makes you anxious, angry, or frustrated is completely outside your control. You're tormenting yourself over things you cannot change. The Stoics knew this was madness. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This is how you build inner peace in a chaotic world. Not by controlling everything, but by controlling only what you can, yourself, and accepting everything else with equanimity. Habit 7. Find the lesson in every problem. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This wasn't Marcus Aurelius being clever with words. This was his daily practice as he faced civil wars, plagues, betrayals, and constant military threats. Every obstacle you face is a disguised opportunity to practice virtue. Stuck in traffic? Here's your chance to practice patience instead of rage. Facing criticism? Here's your opportunity to practice humility and openness instead of defensiveness. Lost your job? Here's your chance to practice resilience and creativity. Someone betrayed you? Here's your moment to practice forgiveness and wisdom. You wanted to become stronger? Here's your gym. You wanted to build patience? Here's your practice ground. You wanted to develop wisdom? Here's your classroom. Stop asking why difficult things are happening to you. Start asking what they're teaching you and what virtue they're inviting you to practice. The Stoics knew that comfortable circumstances don't build character, challenges do. Fire refines gold. Pressure creates diamonds. Obstacles forge strength. This isn't toxic positivity or pretending bad things are good. It's recognizing that you can extract value and growth from anything if you choose to. Your perspective is the only thing between obstacle and opportunity. Change the lens, change the outcome. Habit 8. Imagine losing what you have. Once daily, imagine losing what you have. Your health gone, your relationships ended, your possessions destroyed, your life finished. Not to be morbid or to manifest negativity, but to cultivate two crucial states: gratitude for what remains and preparation for what's inevitable. The Stoics called this premeditation of evils, and it's radically liberating. When you regularly contemplate loss, several transformations occur. First, you stop taking things for granted. Your ordinary Tuesday becomes precious. Your working body becomes a miracle. Your loved ones become irreplaceable treasures instead of expected fixtures. Second, you hold things more lightly. You appreciate what you have without clinging to it desperately. You enjoy without attachment. You love without possession. Third, when loss actually comes, and it will, because impermanence is the only permanence, you're not blindsided. You're prepared. You've already done the mental work. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This awareness doesn't create depression, it creates clarity. When you remember you're going to die, you stop wasting time on nonsense. You tell people you love them. You do the work that matters. You live deliberately instead of drifting. Death isn't morbid to the Stoics, it's clarifying. It burns away the trivial and reveals what actually matters. Practice remembering it daily. Habit 9. Take 3 deep breaths first. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies all your power, all your freedom, all your dignity. The Stoics practiced the pause obsessively because they understood that your first reaction is rarely your best reaction. Someone insults you. Pause. Something goes wrong. Pause. You feel anger rising. Pause. You want to fire off that email? Pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Create even 5 seconds of space. Then ask yourself, what would the wise version of me do here? What response would I be proud of tomorrow? This micro-habit prevents 90% of the things you'll regret. Your first reaction is conditioning, trauma response, evolutionary programming. It's the scared or angry animal inside you. Your second reaction, after the pause, is choice. It's the human being, the rational agent, the person you're trying to become. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the time, our instant reactions make situations worse. The pause gives you the chance to respond instead of react, to choose instead of being controlled, to be free instead of enslaved. You cannot control what happens to you. You can absolutely control the space between what happens and how you respond. Guard that space like your life depends on it. It does. Habit 10. Put your phone face down. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested." Where is your attention right now? If you're honest, it's probably scattered across apps, anxieties, and trivialities. Your attention is your life. Where it goes, you go. What you give it to expands. When you squander attention, you squander existence itself. Practice bringing your attention back to what matters. During conversations, be fully there, not planning your response or checking your phone, actually listening. During work, do one thing completely instead of 10 things poorly. During meals, taste your food instead of scrolling. When with your kids, be with your kids, not with your email. The Stoics knew that attention is the most valuable resource you possess. Guard it like a treasure. Protect it like a fortress. Choose deliberately where to invest it. When you master your attention, you master your life. When you lose control of your attention, you lose everything that matters. Every moment you're alive, you're spending the currency of attention. Spend it on things worthy of your finite existence. Habit 11. Text someone who challenges you. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This isn't about being elitist. It's about recognizing that you become like the people you spend time with. Their habits become your habits. Their attitudes infect you. Their standards become your standards. If you spend time with complainers, you'll complain more. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, you'll make more excuses. If your circle accepts mediocrity, you'll drift toward mediocrity, not because you're weak, but because humans are social creatures designed to mirror and conform. The reverse is equally true. Spend time with disciplined people and discipline becomes easier. Surround yourself with growth-minded people and you'll grow. Choose friends who challenge you to be better and you'll rise to meet them. This doesn't mean abandoning people who are struggling. It means being intentional about who shapes your daily reality. The Stoics were careful about their associations because they knew that proximity is destiny. Show me your closest friends, and I'll show you your future. Choose people who make you want to be better. Avoid people who make you comfortable with being worse. Habit 12. Do the thing you're avoiding. Discipline is a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. If you only do what's comfortable, you become incapable of discomfort. Every single day, without exception, do something you don't want to do. Have the hard conversation you've been avoiding. Complete the challenging task you've been procrastinating. Exercise when you're tired. Write when you don't feel inspired. Apologize when it's humbling. The specific what matters less than the that. You're training yourself to override comfort-seeking, to act based on values rather than feelings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do?'" This is how you become the person who shows up when it's hard, because you've practiced showing up when it's hard every single day. When crisis comes, you won't suddenly discover discipline. You'll rely on the discipline you've built through thousands of small, unglamorous choices. One difficult thing, daily, non-negotiable. Habit 13. Skip something you want. Once a week, say no to something you want. Skip dessert not because you're dieting, but because you're practicing restraint. Don't buy the thing you want, but don't need. Turn down the invitation if you're only going to people please. Deny yourself something within your power to have. This isn't about deprivation or punishment. It's about freedom. When you practice saying no to desires, you prove to yourself that you're not enslaved by them. You demonstrate that you're in control, not your cravings. The Stoics understood that true freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's wanting only what serves you. When you're a slave to every desire, you're not free. You're controlled by external things. But when you can choose to deny yourself, you prove your sovereignty. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Your wants often lie beyond your control. They arise automatically, but whether you act on them is completely within your control. Practice the power of no, to desires, to impulses, to wants that don't serve you. This is how you build internal freedom. Habit 14. Help someone without telling anyone. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What's bad for the hive is bad for the bee." The Stoics rejected the idea that you exist in isolation. You're part of a larger whole, family, community, humanity. Your well-being and others' well-being are interconnected. Daily, ask yourself, how can I be useful today? Help a colleague struggling with a problem, support a friend going through difficulty, contribute to something larger than your own comfort or success, volunteer, mentor, serve. This isn't altruism for its own sake, it's enlightened self-interest. When you serve others, you escape the prison of self-obsession. You connect to purpose beyond your own pleasure or pain. You become part of something that matters. Seneca wrote, "No man can live happily who has regard to himself alone and transforms everything into a question of his own utility." When life is only about you, it becomes suffocating and meaningless. When you serve something larger, you find meaning. The Stoics believed that human beings are social creatures designed for contribution. Go with your design. Serve something beyond yourself. Habit 15. Ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not necessary, do not say it." Before you speak, run your words through this two-part filter. Is it true? Is it necessary? Most of what we say fails this test spectacularly. Gossip fails both tests. Complaints usually fails necessity. Empty chatter to fill silence fails necessity. Exaggerations to sound interesting fails truth. Flattery often fails truth. Criticism that isn't constructive fails necessity. The Stoics practiced radical economy of speech. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you speak only truth, you build unshakable integrity, both with others and with yourself. When you speak only what's necessary, you reclaim enormous energy currently wasted on verbal noise. This doesn't mean being cold or silent. It means being intentional. Speak to connect. Speak to help. Speak to share truth. Don't speak to fill space, to seem smart, to tear others down, or to avoid discomfort with silence. Your words shape reality, both internal and external. Use them like the powerful tools they are, not like cheap currency you can throw around carelessly. Habit 16. Do what you said you'd do. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and then don't, you train yourself not to trust yourself. Every broken commitment, especially the private ones nobody else sees, erodes self-respect. If you say you'll exercise and then don't, you're not just missing a workout. You're teaching yourself that your word means nothing. If you commit to waking early and hit snooze, you're reinforcing that you can't rely on yourself. These internal betrayals compound into a fundamental lack of self-trust. The Stoics knew that character is built through kept promises. Start small. If you say you'll do something, do it. If you can't commit fully, don't agree. Better to say no up front than to say yes and fail to follow through. Your relationship with yourself is the foundation of everything. When you trust yourself to follow through, when you know your word is good even to yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop negotiating. You stop making excuses. You just do what you said you'd do. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Keep your agreements, especially the ones with yourself. Habit 17. Pay the full amount. Justice to the Stoics meant giving people what they're due, including yourself. It meant fairness, integrity, doing the right thing even when no one's watching. Pay the full amount, not a penny less. Give credit where it's due. Apologize when you're wrong. Don't take what isn't yours, including praise for work you didn't do or success you didn't earn. Return what you borrow. Honor your commitments. Be fair in your dealings. These seem like small things, trivial moments that don't matter. But the Stoics knew that character isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in Tuesday afternoon decisions when nobody's watching. The person who cheats on small things will cheat on big things. The person who's dishonest in tiny ways is fundamentally dishonest. These tiny acts of fairness compound into character. When you're just in small things, you build the integrity that holds in big things. When you practice fairness in private, it becomes automatic in public. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire, but he obsessed over whether he was being fair to individual people. That's not because he was weak. It's because he understood that justice in small moments builds the character that can handle large responsibilities. Be fair, be honest, give people their due. This is how you become someone worthy of your own respect. Habit 18. Ask 3 questions before bed. Seneca wrote, "I will keep constant watch over myself and, most usefully, will put each day up for review. For this is what makes us evil, that none of us looks back upon our own lives." Before sleep, review your day with complete honesty. What did you do well? Where did you fall short? What could you improve tomorrow? This isn't about guilt or self-flagellation. It's about extracting wisdom from experience. Most people just live day after day without ever examining whether they're getting better or just getting older. They repeat the same mistakes endlessly because they never pause to learn from them. The evening review transforms experience into wisdom. 3 questions, 5 minutes. What did I do right today? Acknowledge your wins. Reinforce good habits. Build on strengths. What did I do wrong? Face your failures honestly. No excuses. No blame. Just truth. What could I do better tomorrow? Turn insight into action. Make tomorrow's plan. This practice creates a feedback loop of continuous improvement. You're not just living, you're learning. You're not just aging, you're growing. 5 minutes of reflection creates more growth than hours of mindless repetition. The unexamined day is wasted. Examine yours. Habit 19. Text, "I forgive you," even if you don't send it. The Stoics knew that resentment is poison you drink, hoping someone else will die. Holding on to anger, grudges, or shame doesn't hurt the people you're angry at. It destroys you from the inside. Before bed, release the day's grievances. Someone wronged you? They're either ignorant of what's right or suffering themselves. Forgive them. You made mistakes? You're human and learning. Forgive yourself. The person who cut you off in traffic, the colleague who took credit, the friend who disappointed you. Let it go. This doesn't mean accepting abuse or avoiding accountability. It means refusing to carry today's weight into tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Don't become bitter. Don't become vengeful. Don't let someone else's wrong action turn you into someone worse. Forgive others because they're doing the best they can with what they know, even when their best is terrible. Forgive yourself because growth requires trying, and trying requires risking failure. Tomorrow is a new opportunity to practice better. Don't poison it with today's resentment. Release. Forgive. Sleep in peace. Habit 20. Name 3 things you're grateful for. Epictetus taught, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Before sleep, name 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not grand things necessarily, ordinary things. Your breath moving in and out without conscious effort. Your bed. Clean water, a kind word someone offered, the fact that you're alive, that meal you ate, that conversation you had. This practice rewires your brain from scarcity to abundance, from focus on what's missing to appreciation for what's present. When you end each day with gratitude, you train your mind to notice blessings instead of only problems. The Stoics weren't naive about suffering or difficulty, but they knew that gratitude is a choice, a practice, a discipline. You can find things to appreciate in any circumstance if you look for them, and what you look for, you find more of. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging that even in imperfection, there are things worth appreciating. It's about recognizing that you have enough, that this moment, exactly as it is, contains gifts. Sleep grateful, wake generous. Habit 21. Lay out tomorrow's clothes tonight. The Stoics knew that willpower is finite and motivation is unreliable. Don't rely on morning willpower or tomorrow's motivation. Create tonight's systems that make good choices inevitable. Lay out your workout clothes. Prepare your healthy breakfast. Write tomorrow's 3 priorities. Put your book on your pillow and your phone in another room. Remove friction from good habits and add friction to bad ones. You're not just planning. You're building the environment that makes tomorrow's best self the default option. When the alarm goes off and you see your workout clothes, you don't have to summon motivation. You just get dressed. When your phone is in another room, you can't mindlessly grab it. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Tonight, prepare the environment for who you want to be tomorrow. Make the right choice the easy choice. This is the final habit for a reason. It creates a bridge from today to tomorrow, from reflection to action, from intention to reality. You've examined your day, forgiven and released, felt gratitude. Now prepare to do it all again, slightly better. The bonfire doesn't build itself, but if you prepare the wood, striking the match tomorrow becomes simple. Here's what happens when you practice these 21 habits every day. Nothing dramatic, at least not immediately. The first week, you'll still make mistakes. You'll practice the pause and still react poorly. You'll prepare for adversity and still get frustrated. This is where most people quit. But somewhere around week 3, you notice something. You pause before reacting when you would have exploded. You feel genuinely grateful instead of numb. You do the hard thing without the usual resistance. By month 3, the habits aren't hard anymore. They're just who you are. The morning routine feels natural. The evening review feels necessary. You've built new neural pathways. You've become someone new. By month 6, other people notice. You're calmer, more focused, more reliable. In crisis, where others panic, you assess. Where others complain, you act. This is the compound effect. Small actions, repeated daily, create exponential transformation. Epictetus was right. The bonfire grows or dies based on what you feed it. Every day, every moment, you're adding fuel to something. Pick one habit, light one match. Start today. The bonfire is waiting. If you're ready to feed the right fire and build yourself into someone unshakable, leave a comment below. I choose discipline.